A man who moved his family from suburban America to one of the most remote corners of Alaska. No road access for much of the year, temperatures that drop to -40, no running water, no power grid. Just crossed 240,000 subscribers while pulling in over 1 million views per video. That man is Dennis Westerlind, the creator behind Holdfast Alaska. And right now, his channel is doing something that almost never happens to homesteading content. It is genuinely breaking out. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what Dennis has built, why it is growing this fast right now, and what the next chapter of Holdfast Alaska actually looks like. Because the channel he started 5 years ago and the channel he is running today are not the same thing at all. Most people who watch Holdfast Alaska today assume Dennis has always lived this way. He has not. Before the remote cabin, before the Copper River Basin, before the fish wheels and the pack horses and the wood stoves pushing back against -40 winters, Dennis Westerlind lived in the suburbs. A regular American life. A house in a neighborhood, neighbors nearby, civilization within easy reach. The video he published in late 2024 titled, "From Suburbia to Remote Alaska," makes that origin plain. He and his family did not inherit a homestead. They did not grow up off the grid. They chose it. Deliberately, after deciding that the life they were living was not the one they wanted. That distinction matters more than it might seem at first. The homesteading space on YouTube is full of creators who came from farming families, who had land handed down to them, who knew what they were getting into because they had watched their parents do it. Dennis walked in from the outside. He bought into a vision of a life that was radically different from anything he had experienced, moved his family to one of the most logistically challenging environments in North America, and then documented every step of learning how to actually survive there. The channel launched in February 2021. At that point, there was no established audience, no guarantee the concept would work, and certainly no playbook for how to build a YouTube channel around subsistence homesteading in interior Alaska. He just started filming. The early content was raw in a way that later videos are not. The learning curve was visible in every frame, and that visibility turned out to be exactly what viewers responded to. And if you think that was the whole plan, just show up and film. Stay with me, because this next part is why the whole story matters. Remote is a word that gets overused in outdoor content. Dennis's version of remote is a different category entirely. Holdfast Alaska is set in Alaska's Copper River Basin, a region of interior Alaska that is, for significant portions of the year, genuinely inaccessible by road. The nearest town is not a short drive away. Supply runs are not trips to a hardware store. They are multi-day logistics operations covering hundreds of miles. A video published in early 2025 documented a 600-mile round trip across Alaska just to get supplies and handle repairs. Another, published in March 2026, showed Dennis using a 50-year-old snowcat to reach the cabin after the road became impassable. That video pulled in 574,000 views. Water comes from hauling. The channel documented the family hauling more than 8,000 gallons of water by hand to get through a single winter. Power, until recently, came from whatever they could cobble together. In early 2026, Dennis published a 2-part series about acquiring and installing a cell tower diesel generator to bring reliable power to the homestead for the first time. And those videos combined for nearly 500,000 views. The cold is not cinematic, it is operational. When the wood stove failed at -40 in March 2026, that was not a dramatic moment the channel manufactured for engagement. That was a real failure, with real consequences, and the video showing Dennis dealing with it reached 445,000 views and a breakout score of over 3. The audience is not watching for aesthetic wilderness shots. They are watching because the stakes are genuine. Here's what the comments kept asking, and here's the answer they never got, until now. The content that made Holdfast Alaska into something larger than a niche homesteading channel arrived in the summer of 2025. Fish wheels, specifically the Copper River and the subsistence salmon harvest that is both a practical necessity and a profound cultural practice in that part of Alaska. Dennis published a video in August 2025 titled "Launching a Fish Wheel in Alaska's Copper River," and it hit a breakout score of 10.14. For context, a score above 3 means a video is dramatically outperforming the channel's average. A score of 10 means the algorithm picked it up and pushed it to an audience far beyond the existing subscriber base. That video alone accumulated nearly 1 million views. He followed it in July 2025 with a salmon camp video, 5 days of subsistence fishing on the Copper River, that hit 825,000 views and a breakout score of 9.54. Then in late July 2025 came Processing 103 Salmon, a 35-minute documentary-style video that currently sits at 1.18 million views and a breakout score of 14.16. That is the highest breakout score on the channel. What the fish wheel content did was solve a problem that a lot of homesteading channels never crack. Most off-grid content peaks during the setup phase. The audience comes for the novelty, the drama of will they survive, and then gradually drifts when the channel settles into routine. The fish wheel content is not routine. It is a seasonal, high-stakes, labor-intensive practice that produces visually compelling footage and a genuine survival arc. Every summer, the stakes reset. The salmon either come or they don't. The wheel works or it doesn't. In June 2026, Dennis published We Lost Our Fish Wheel on Alaska's Copper River, 222,000 views in days, followed by the rebuild video that hit 1.3 million views in its first 2 weeks. Most people who know this story stop here, but the real story starts right now. Numbers tell part of the story, but the rate of change tells the real one. Holdfast Alaska had 213,000 subscribers on June 16, 2026. By July 16, 2026, exactly 30 days later, that number had reached 242,000, 29,000 new subscribers in a single month. The channel added more subscribers in those 30 days than many homesteading creators accumulate in a year. Views over the same period climbed by nearly 5 million. The channel was publishing 5 videos per month, and every single one was clearing 6 figures in views within days of going live. To understand why this matters for the channel's future, you need to understand what that growth rate signals in YouTube's recommendation system. When a channel grows this fast, the algorithm interprets it as a signal to push the content into new audiences. People who have never searched for homesteading content, never heard of Dennis Westerlind, and would not have found the channel through normal discovery. The Fish Wheel Rebuild video, published June 27, 2026, is a case study in this. It has a breakout score of 7.73, meaning it is performing at nearly 8 times the channel's average. It pulled in over 1.3 million views. That is not an existing audience watching. That is a new audience arriving. Dennis has structured the channel to take advantage of exactly this moment. The content mix in 2026 is different from 2024. Longer videos, 25 to 50 minutes, have become standard. The production shows more deliberate structure. Each video is self-contained enough that a new viewer can arrive at any point and understand what they are watching. That is not an accident. That is a creator who has paid attention to the data and adjusted accordingly. And that's when the decision was made, the one nobody around him saw coming. Most commentary on Holdfast Alaska treats it as a homesteading channel. That framing undersells what Dennis has actually built. The Copper River Basin is home to several Alaska Native communities, and the subsistence practices Dennis documents, fish wheels, traditional preservation methods, the rhythms of living around the salmon run, are practices that those communities have maintained for generations. When Dennis published Building a Fish Wheel for Our Village in July 2026, the title itself signaled something that gets overlooked in most coverage of the channel. The Westerlind family is not just homesteading in isolation. They are embedded in a place with existing community relationships and neighbors who share the same subsistence practices. The 100-year-old method content series, sourdough starters made without measuring, elderberry syrup preservation, fireless cooker cooking, is not nostalgia content. It is documentation of methods that still work, still matter, and in Dennis's case, still feed his family. The sourdough starter video from April 2025 hit 1.04 million views and a breakout score of 9.62. It is the most liked video on the channel. The audience responding to it is not the homesteading niche. It is a much broader group of people who are interested in pre-industrial food knowledge and practical self-sufficiency. This is the channel's second lane. The wilderness survival lane brings people in. The practical skills lane keeps them, because it speaks to something that reaches far beyond people who want to move to Alaska. Most people watching that sourdough video will never live off the grid, but they can make sourdough. And once they trust Dennis enough to follow a recipe, they watch the fish wheel videos too. And if you think that was surprising, stay with me, because this next part is why the whole story matters. Something significant happened to Holdfast Alaska in the first half of 2026, and it happened gradually enough that the audience may not have registered it as a turning point. Dennis built infrastructure. Not just the homestead infrastructure, the cabin additions, the greenhouse, the barn, but the kind of operational foundation that changes what is possible for the channel long-term. The two-part generator series in January and February 2026 documented the acquisition and installation of a cell-tower diesel generator. For the first time, the homestead had reliable, scalable electricity. The video showing it running for the first time hit 179,000 views on its first day of release. The follow-up hit 320,000. In the same period, pack horses arrived and were trained for backcountry work. A 50-year-old snowcat was acquired and restored. A greenhouse was rebuilt after winter damage. A hot tub was built during a snowstorm. An abandoned fire truck was repaired for fire season. These are not content moments strung together for views. They are individual pieces of a homestead that is becoming more capable every season. The significance for the channel's future is straightforward. More infrastructure means more content categories. A fully functional pack string opens backcountry hunting and supply routes that were not accessible before. A generator means that winter projects, previously constrained by light and temperature, can expand in scope. The cabin expansion documented throughout 2025 and into 2026 points toward a homestead that can eventually house more people and sustain more activity. Dennis has never explicitly laid out a 5-year plan on camera. He does not frame the channel in terms of milestones or growth targets. What he does instead is document the work. And the work, taken together, tells the story of a creator who is playing a very long game. What happened next is the reason this story spread across the internet. Right now, in July 2026, Holdfast Alaska is in the middle of fish wheel season on the Copper River, and it is producing some of the best content the channel has ever made. The July 2026 video, Living Off the Land in Alaska's Copper River Basin, accumulated 844,000 views in under 2 weeks. The one before it, Building and Launching a Fish Wheel on Alaska's Copper River, crossed 1.3 million. Views per hour on that video peaked at over 900, an extraordinary figure for a channel of this size. The growth rate in the 30 days through mid-July 2026 suggests the channel could reach 300,000 subscribers before the salmon season ends. What Dennis has confirmed through his content, even without a dedicated future of the channel announcement, is a clear direction. The channel is moving toward longer, more documentary-style episodes. The subsistence arc from spring breakup through winter preparation gives the year a built-in structure that most YouTube channels lack. Each season has its own logic: the fish wheels in summer, the moose hunt in fall, the cabin work and cold weather operations through winter, the supply runs and spring prep as the ice breaks. That structure keeps the audience returning not just for individual videos, but for the progression of a year. The channel that launched in February 2021, with a family leaving the suburbs, was, in a sense, a setup. The channel Holdfast Alaska is becoming in 2026, 242,000 subscribers, million-view videos, a functioning off-grid homestead with genuine seasonal content arcs, is the payoff of 5 years of documented work. The rumors about where this channel is headed are not really rumors. They are written in the growth curve, the infrastructure, and the fact that Dennis Westerlind has not once in 5 years given the audience a reason to stop watching. One phone call, one conversation, that's all it took to change the direction of everything. What Dennis Westerlind built with Holdfast Alaska is a proof of concept that most people in the creator space said could not work. That unscripted, slow-burn, real consequences documentary content about genuine wilderness living could grow into something mainstream. The next chapter is already filming. The fall moose hunt will come, the temperatures will drop back to -40, and the channel that arrived at 242,000 subscribers this summer will push toward 300,000 and beyond, with an audience that has been building trust across 5 years of honest documentation. There is no pivot coming, no rebrand, no departure from what made this channel work. The future of Holdfast Alaska looks exactly like its past, just bigger, more established, and further from the suburban life Dennis left behind. Do you think Dennis made the right call walking away from suburban life to build Holdfast Alaska? Or was that a risk most people would never take? Drop your answer below.